So first and foremost, I'd like to invite our panel to join us on stage. We have Adwin Pratama Anas, Senior Vice President of Operations with Eratani. Julian, Investor Relations Lead with Aonic. And Rabah, the Head of Technology with Meraque. Moderating this panel will be partner and leader, Consumer Practice, Southeast Asia, Mckinsey. Please welcome Suyin, who will be taking charge of this conversation.
Great, thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully everyone this is the last session before lunch. Great to meet you all. My name is Suyin, partner from the McKinsey office, looking after our food and agriculture practice with the consumer practice, of which we do see there's many synergies. So very excited to be part of this panel today. Smart farms, right? So if we think about smart farms, why is it important? I think we started by saying about feeding ASEAN or feeding the world. We know that agriculture today, if we continue to feed the world the way we've done in the past, is like continuing to fill in water into a leaky bucket. It just won't work, right? There's a lot of practices that we are doing. We just cannot afford to do so at the current scale, and our environment and our system is not ready to do so at the current scale. The reality is smart farms, we do have the technology today to solve many of these problems, right? We do have the technology today to solve many of these problems. And maybe let me break down when we talk about smart farms, what are the components, right? So we think about smart farms, it is automation. We have 2 drone providers here today. So the role of automation in the system. Secondly is the role of digital and connectivity, right? So what are the digital solutions, someone like Eratani to connect as well on second one. Third is biologicals. So we also need to ensure that at the end of the day, it's food, is organic. So what are the biological technology that we're using to deploy it? And last but not least is also the data and AI component to tie many of these things together. Our experience also shows that combining several of these technologies are best to really unleash this impact as well. So with that, very excited to have this panel, but I would love to maybe start by asking people, starting from Adwin on my left, to maybe introduce yourselves as well and your company, what you represent.
Okay, hi everyone. Hope you have a good day. Feel honored to be in the middle of such a fantastic people. So today actually I feel fine, but suddenly feel a little bit nervous since my vice minister directly watching me over there. Welcome, Prof. Stella. So my name is Adwin Pratama Anas. I'm a senior vice president of operations at one of the largest agriculture in Indonesia, named Eratani. So I have more than 10 years experience in multiple industries, but these past 4 years I chose agriculture. The reason why is that I don't have any agriculture background, but I believe agriculture is the main problem and the main important thing right now. Since solving farmers' problem means solving world hunger. And agriculture is currently the backbone of the economy. So at Eratani, what we do is that we try to give end-to-end solutions to farmers, starting from access to capital, access to inputs, access to knowledge, and access to markets. So today, this session, which is smart farming and smart agent, really resonates what my interest, and I believe that we can share a lot of knowledge and insights, and I can bring you with more experience directly from Indonesian rice fields. Thank you.
Thank you. Julian?
Yeah, hey guys, my name is Julian from Aonic. I don't know how to beat the introduction, but I'll give a quick overview of Aonic. So Aonic right now, we're in 4 countries, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos. We have over 250 companies. And we're really split into 2 parts, right? Industrial and agriculture. Industrial is where we offer third-party products, reputable products, and offer solutions for surveying, mapping, surveying across industries like oil and gas, telco, power line. But I want to touch a bit more on agriculture, something that is a topic of conversation today, and something that we're really excited about. So over the past 6-7 years, we have created our own spraying drones, built for both B2B, or think of large oil palm plantations, and B2C, think of paddy fields. And these basically spraying drones help spray fields with inputs. And on top of that, we've also built software to accompany this hardware So think of like a mapping software and also the flight app that is used to pilot these drones. And we've also built app to also help smallholder farmers to bring them together. So that's the digital layer. Other than that, we built a physical layer. And physical layer, think of it as car workshops, Jones as a car, and they need these workshops to kind of buy drones, buy spare parts, maintain the drones, and we've recently added value adds, for example, agri-inputs. So we've been having these 3 centers, I think right now across Southeast Asia, Malaysia and Thailand, we got about 40 plus locations already, and that's what we're really trying to do and bring the farmers together.
Thank you. Rabah?
Hi, I'm Rabah from Meraque Group. So let me, if anyone doesn't know about Meraque, let me give a short intro about Meraque. So Meraque is a local startup in Malaysia. We are more focused on robotic solution for agriculture as well as other industries. But our main market share is in agriculture. So our business is more towards, we started with drone in 2018. Then we ventured into robotics, more focused on autonomous technologies, where we started with drones, then we ventured into autonomous ground vehicles. When we talk about robotics, definitely AI is something that we always embed into our system because where we have to provide intelligent solutions. So our business is more on custom solutions for your farm. Rather than we are making a standard, we are more tailored to the end users where we customize our solution and intelligent system based on their requirements. So that's what Meraque does for the past 5 to 7 years, where we are trying to meet our clients' requirement rather than we are being a software house or a hardware solution that is standard. Farmers have to follow their standards. So that's what Meraque do. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. So maybe we'd love to open up with a question about, for you, if we think about the role of smart farms in impacting agriculture, whether it's in productivity, whether it's in cost, whether it's environmental solutions, or maybe it's also about welfare, right? Like pemerataan economy, like the welfare of the people. Where do you see the biggest opportunities, right? Maybe you'd love to hear from you first, Adwin, from your point of view.
Okay, thank you. So, for our understanding, the number of farmers in ASEAN hit 100 million farmers, right? And then with the total of population who work in agriculture in ASEAN, it can hit around 150 million of people. It contribute around 12 to 13% of the total people working agriculture in the world. Means that number of farmers in ASEAN is very high. Especially in my country, it can hit around 29% of people working in agriculture. Number of farmers is around 30 million. So what can AI do to help these farmers? So from our experience, right, we divide it into 2 categories. The first is on-farm. The second is the off-farm. So the on-farm, basically there are 3 things. The first is the precision agriculture. So the precision agriculture is how farmers can use the right number of pesticide, the right number of fertilizers. We did a lot of experiment, and then it successfully reduced farmer cost. So precision agriculture means reducing cost. And then predictive analysis, using a lot of AI tools like satellites, drones. We can predict if there will be a pest attack in this certain location, right? And the third one is the smart monitoring, where we at the headquarters can help farmers directly to see the real-time condition of their land. So these 3 is the on-farm. Meanwhile, for the off-farm, as we know that farmers need capital, right, to do farming practices. So there are a lot of AI tools to help farmers get the capital. And then also collaborating with principal, like to give good inputs and good quality inputs. And lastly, to give access to market to the farmers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What about you, Julian, from the drone
I think
world?
Meraque will agree with me. I think the biggest opportunity here is really like automation, but also remote, right? So aside from using drones for to save cost, to save time, I want to point to a more close to home story. So imagine a farmer taking a knapsack sprayer. He's walking through the field. He's 60 years old. He's carrying a 20 liter bag spraying pesticides. While he's spraying, he's breathing in all the pesticides. And that's something that we really overlook, right? We just buy a rice and then we don't think about the sweat that farmer put in. So that's what we're really trying to solve with drones. Right now with drones, what farmers does is at the tank ready, pour in water, pour in pesticide, mix it, click a button, the drone will fly. Previously, without drones, 1 hectare took the farmer, 2 to 3 hours to cover. Now with drones, it's 15 minutes. And it's the same thing for large oil palm plantations, right? If they're not using drones, means they're using knapsack sprayers. They're having the foreign labor, go to each tree, spray, go to each tree, spray, go to each tree, spray. With drones, with our P2P drones, we know exactly how much they are spraying, where they are spraying, and the area covered. So I think that's speaking back to the welfare of the people that are actually doing the actual work, right? And that's what we are also looking at, other than the time and the cost savings.
Thank you. Maybe I ask Rabah for a different point of view, given similar. Where do you see these biggest challenges are, right? Given that we know that there are many smart farm technologies out there, why is it not more adopted? What are some of the challenges that you're seeing in this case?
Okay, that's a good question. So why adaptation to the technology is a big concern for farmers is because they set up a farm first, especially the cropping pattern and all these things, but they adapt the technology in a later stage. So in Meraque, we have a solution for replanting, especially for oil palm plantations. Because for oil palm plantations, for the replanting process, they have to follow certain standards, which was set by MPOP, Ministry of Palm Oil, Board of Palm Oil. And each plantation has their own requirements, especially in terms of the spacing of the roads and other buildings and all these things. So there was a great concern. We cannot go with a standard solution. And when in this era, it's all about AI, which opens door for precision agriculture, where we can reduce a lot of human errors and also increase the productivity. So we came up with a solution for virtual replanting, where we have different plantations and their requirements. And in our system, using AI, we can plan how to replant the oil palm for different plantation based on their requirement, which complies with MPOB standard. So plantations are now adapting in the early stage. Rather than they are waiting, first they start the farm, then put some sensors or devices. Then in the later stage, the technology has a limitation of infrastructure. So Meraque, we help in the early stage with starting from the replanting or planting the crop. Then once we start that, we have all the data of that plantation, what's the planting patterns. Then using that, we integrate with our hardware solutions, which is drones and autonomous ground vehicles, where we do spot spraying activities and we do fertilizing, where it's more precise because, as Julian mentioned, it knows which spot need to be sprayed and what's the amount of pesticide or chemicals dispensed from the rover. So previously, in 2018, there was when 2019, 2020, there was a big issues in plantation was lack of foreign laborers. So that's how we started with drone technology, and we were the first in the country to introduce hybrid drones. When you say hybrid drone, all the normal DJI drones are using battery, which can fly up to 15 minutes, one flight. But when we start using hybrid drone, we can fly up to 45 to 1 hour. So that brings a lot of impact in plantations, where Julian mentioned it's all about an autonomous operation. Just one press, you're gonna cover all your plantation. You can get like 4 to 14 hectares, and you can you just need one pilot and co-pilot, and you're upskilling those old farmers who are following the traditional method. But yeah, always there is a challenge, where main challenge is bringing awareness. When I go to plantation and say, okay, you have to follow this method, they'll just have a concern. Oh, we have been in plantation for 30 years, and you've been like for 7 years and asking us to follow your method. So that's how Meraque comes. We take their traditional method and improve their best practice using technology. So AI brings a great impact, where AI can be their virtual assistants, like how we are using ChatGPT, where whenever we have a concern, we just text ChatGPT and ask the question, okay, is this practice followed, is correct or not? So in our digital solutions, where we always embed AI into it as a digital companion for them, to verify their best practice. And if they have a traditional method, we follow that method and we help them to reduce human errors. So yeah, so these are
Thank
the...
you. Thank you. No, you talked a bit about the challenges about convincing and the traditions in that way. For you, Adwin, from your point of view, working with smallholders especially, how are you seeing this, right? And especially convincing them on this place. What are some challenges you're facing?
Thank you. So regarding challenges, so basically this is the most important thing we need to face, right? So from our experience directly from the field, there are around 5 or 6 key challenges we are facing. The first one is that wrong focus. So developers, startups create a lot of product, but when it goes to the farmers, that's not what the farmers really need, right? They just think that, okay, this is a cool product. Okay, I think farmers need it, but the market, yes, they need it, but it's not the top priority. The second one is the infrastructure. Do you know that in Indonesia there are 12% of area is not touched by internet? So how can we create a lot of AI? Meanwhile, the infrastructure is not there. The third is the pricing. In Indonesia, I'm talking in Indonesia point of view, yeah. 55 years old, the average farmers with more than 60% of smallholder farmers. And then you come and sell a product with a very expensive price. They cannot afford it. And then what else? Their knowledge. Sometimes the product is very complicated. Even me need to learn how to use it. And then, do you know our farmers in Indonesia, yeah, 75% only graduated from elementary school. Only 2.44% go to the universities. So there is some challenges that we face in how to make farmers use the AI and also how to make them trust. Because the last but not least, sometimes the AI only give recommendation. So, hey farmers, I want to tell you that your location in the very edge of the corner have a pest attack rats. Okay, and then what? So the farmers say that, okay, thank you for the information. And then what can I do? So that's why we at Eratani, we are solving end-to-end solution. We have a lot of agronomists on the field, but not just agronomists, local people. Since me coming to a location at Java, I cannot speak their languages. So there's a lot of challenges we're facing in terms of AI adoption in agriculture.
Thank you. So thanks. Maybe going back to you, Julian, to maybe think about different angle. Many of you have a lot of you talked a lot about great tech solutions, AI, drone, different things that you're doing here. Where do you see the role of partners and the ecosystem to unlock some of these things in your world, right? Because how are you doing it all otherwise?
Yeah, I think for partners, there are mainly 2 parts, right? One is first helping the company, and one is helping the beneficiary, which is the farmers. So I'll be completely honest, without the grants by NTIS, without the private funding from local and regional VCs, Aonic wouldn't be here right now, and I wouldn't be here sitting. We wouldn't have been able to invest into the R&D needed to create these drones, to be able to spray these paddy fields, to run POC. Another point with partners is that we joined NTIS, which is a public-private sandbox. We found that really useful because they connected us with all the large oil palm plantations, and we were able to run POCs, and after that, refine our product with direct feedback from these plantations. So that's more on the company side. How can the government, partners, NGOs help these companies develop proper solutions? Second part is when you got the solutions, how can we lower the barrier of entry for these farmers? So the Malaysian government recently launched a program called Sejati Madani, which provides grants to these farmers to buy drones, to buy a lot of things, but drones is one of them. And these actually just lower the cost of barrier entry. They're exposed to drones, and now they are basically using it to service their community of farmers. And yeah, basically they are becoming more efficient. We also leverage a lot on the local cooperatives grants as well. Agrobank is a great partner of ours where they offer loans. We offer loans our own books by 2 years. Agrobank offers 5 years because they can afford to do so. So that's where we're really leveraging on partners as well.
Thank you. What about you, Adwin, any thoughts about the role of partners in your ecosystem?
Okay, so prior to joining in the agriculture sector, I work in the ride-hailing and food delivery. Maybe you guys ever come to Indonesia and order Gojek. So I spent 5 years over there, and then our tagline is "Go far, go together," right? So the key is collaboration. So there are several multi-stakeholders that we at Eratani, as the ecosystem enabler, we aggressively ask them to collaborate with us to solve farmers' problem. From the first, the government, of course, right? Because at the end of the day, they have the data, they have the power to influence, and they have the power to fix the infrastructure, right? Second one is the NGOs. NGOs have a lot of farmers because they're operating in rural areas like already 10, 20 years ago. So we have experience partnering with one of the NGOs in Lampung, and then they help us to connect with their women farmers. After that, we also collaborate, have several MOUs with BRIN, is a research institution in Indonesia, and also universities, because they are the mind, right? They can help us to check whether our initiative, our solution is best in the academical way. So lastly is the corporation. As you said before, Julian, yeah, that banks, they have, in Indonesia, yeah, they have a program for the smallholder farmers named KUR, Kredit Usaha Rakyat. But did you know that the penetration is still below 5%? Because why? The farmers cannot fill this document, this so much document. They don't even know how to write it. They don't even know how to read it. So we at Eratani become the bridger to that. So we believe that collaboration is the most important thing.
Great, thank you. Maybe before I open up to questions next, starting from Rabah, right? What is your one hope and wish for ASEAN in smart farms of the future?
Okay, so my wish is like if we can bring, like even with the support of government and government agency, bring more awareness on agri-tech solutions, where we, to provide more opportunities where we can reach to the farmers and also upskill them, rather than we are directly, they buy a solution from them through the government and government agencies, where they can first we bring the awareness together, then we provide the solution where we can upskill their generation, because the generations, if the farmer, this next generation is not willing to get into the agriculture industry, because when you say agriculture, they think about sitting under the hot sun and doing the work. But now it's changed. Autonomy solutions are available in the market. So we are providing that solutions. So we can have it more impactful, and you don't need to follow the traditional method, and it's more Gen Z right now. So those awareness can help.
Thank you. Julian?
Yeah, this is hopes, right? So I'm going to do something a little more far-fetched. I hope one day when I'm driving to Kedah along the North-South Expressway, I look to my left paddy field, I look to my right paddy field, and I hope like I can see mist drones flying all around. But I think there's two parts to that. First is that I'm in the right company, means I'm probably doing well. Second is that if we can see drones becoming so ubiquitous, means that first, farmers are becoming more digitally literate. Second is that they are more open to technology to help scale their farm, and we can offer more solutions to them. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so my hope for agriculture sector is that AI can become as common and as trusted as traditional tools in the hand of every farmers. So I imagine a future where every farmers can buy affordable and good inputs from their handphone, from their device. They can choose where to sell their harvest from multiple options of buyers. They can get an alarm, just like us when we set an alarm to wake up in the morning, right? They can get an alarm to tell them that, hey, there will be a pest attack around 30% in this specific location. They can get an alarm, or they can get an information on when to plant because the climate changes, right? So this initiative, I believe, can really help farmer again to increase their productivity, to reduce their cost. And if we can collaborate and solve every single problem And we do believe that AI is not just a tool, but AI is a catalyst for this agri-tech stuff, right? So if we can collaborate doing that, ASEAN not only can feed its people, ASEAN not only can increase the wealthy of their farmers, but ASEAN can become the global benchmarking for agriculture, technology, AI amplification in the world.
Thank you very much. Very exciting. With that, we'd like to open up to see if there's anyone had any questions on the ground. Some questions. Over, there's a-
Thank you. My question goes straight to Adwin, Anas. When you're trying to share about the Indonesia experience and touching on the reality and how you are trying to be on the ground, especially leveraging your experience at Gojek, one thing I want you to touch on is looking at other major challenges that farmers face, which is even more important than financing or AI, especially in Indonesia. That is speaking to natural disasters like flooding, as well as looking at times, maybe when we have earthquake or maybe flooding, or when you have landslides around. How do you leverage technology? Because this is one of those major issues that faces farmers in Indonesia, especially in the remote areas, which we have few people to go deep down those areas. How do you leverage technology to get alarm, just like you mentioned, telling them, hey, your crops are getting attacked in the next 5 minutes? How do they get to deal with that? Thank you.
You want to answer? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Akib. Okay, thank you for the amazing question. So, talking about digitalizing farmers, right? So because we have a mission where we from Gojek digitalize drivers, and now we can digitalize farmers. But we have to accept that the market is not that mature. We have to accept that. Because if we did not accept that, then we will not get near our mission, right? So, as an example, for the farmers, especially the old farmers, like what I said before, yeah, the average age of farmers in Indonesia is 55 years old. So can you imagine 55 years old, people like me coming to them, tell them to use technology, tell them to change their way of planting that already been generations. They tell me like, how old are you? How long have you been in this agriculture? I've been in this sector 40 years. My grandparents already in this sector, and then you come and teach me, right? So that is really difficult for us. But we have to accept that. So that's why we have a team on the ground named Farmer Engagement. It's not agronomists only, it's farmer engagement. We believe that people must assist the farmers in the early stages. So we at Eratani, we divide our farmers criteria into several tiering, right? New farmers, mature farmers, champion farmers, and then our interaction with them will be different regarding every tiering, especially in Indonesia, when there's a lot of, like me, I'm from Makassar, South Sulawesi. If anyone you like to eat seafood, come there. But for me, if I go to Sumatra, especially the farmer in the rural area, I cannot speak with them. And they did not believe us. So seeing is believing, right? So for farmers, we do need to have extra effort in order to make them believe that we come, technology come, and AI come to help them. And later on, they will spread the word. But again, if they already believe it, especially when we are a community-centric, so we acquire the chiefs. Yeah, we acquire the chief farmers to make them spread the word regarding this agriculture and AI, because later on they will believe faster if their colleges already recommend these tools. Hope answer your question, Mr.
Thank you. Maybe you can open up to more questions.
Okay, thank you. I am Firdaus. I am from Bogor Agriculture University, but today I accompany the Vice Minister because I stay in KL in Indonesian Embassy. Very nice to meet you, Adwin, yeah, Julian, and Rabah. Maybe my question is directed to Adwin and Rabah. As we know that the implementation of AI or smart farming, we can find in some modern farming or greenhouse, but it's very limited in open fields or in conventional farming. One of the issues is that the land ownership, I think in all countries in Southeast Asia, is very limited. It's very small, only less than 1 hectare, or even though only a half hectare. Do you have any suggestion how to incorporate farming? Maybe Edwin, you have experience because based on our research in university that to implement one drone with the capacity of 50 liters, we need at least 50 hectares. So we need to incorporate farmers. So maybe you have experience in this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. So, what you're saying is true, and that is what we are facing on the ground. So, at Eratani, how we operate is we do not acquire farmers one by one, right? But we acquire it into a group of farmers. So in Indonesia, there's the name of the Poktan, yeah, kelompok tani. And then that is the smaller size. So in one Poktan, there's a chief leading like 10 farmers. And then above Poktan, there is a Gapoktan, gabungan kelompok tani. So a broader group consists of like 10 small farmer groups. So, yes, let's say we're using a drone or we're using satellites, and then we go to one farmer by one farmer. The prices will be very, very expensive. Very, very expensive. They cannot afford it. So what we do is that we acquire the villages. We collaborate with the chief of the village, kelurahan, kecamatan, right? The sub-districts, and then with that only solution that we can put AI there, because again, yeah, the price is expensive and then it's very complex, Pak. So we cannot do it at very small scale. So yeah, that's also one of our problems. So that's why when we're entering a villages or location, we acquire it in a group.
Yeah, not sure, Rabah. I think also to offer some perspectives, what we have seen in some countries, they split up the ownership of the land and the management of the land. It's very political, right? Don't want to comment about ownership of land here, right? But I think splitting this up to gain some of those economies of scale so that you can do drones in large things. Exactly, you say the kelompok tani in some other countries is really the koperasi, right? The corporations of how you work together and influencing them is very important as well. Want to say?
Okay, from Meraque side, so how we tackle this solution. So when we started this company, we just directly didn't, okay, we developed the drone, okay, we didn't sell. What we did is we start a service model first, where we started where small farmers, they can take our service and our pilots will go to their farm and do the spraying operation or fertilizing operation. Today, we have almost 150 plus pilots flying drones daily across Malaysia. And we also in Sabah, Sarawak. So what we do, so we have our presence all over Malaysia. So whenever a farmer comes with a small plot, maybe 50 hectares or less, we get the regional team to go there and do the operation for them. At the end, agriculture is all about volume. It's not about you get a small farm and you can make profit out of it. But us, from the vision of our CEO, Mr. Razali Ismail, he just say like, first, it's all about it's a new technology, like mentioned. Still, it's not that matured enough in the market for agri-tech. So we take this opportunity to bring awareness to the farmers, where their next generation or themselves, we can upskill them. So under Meraque Group, we have Meraque Academy, where we do the trainings, where we do the drone pilot training, autonomous ground vehicle training. So plantations, before in plantation, they need to hire a skilled tractor driver to go inside the plantation. Now using AI technology, our rovers, you don't need it. You just need an operator. It doesn't need to be a skilled tractor driver. Our AI system can guide the operator how easily he can do his operation inside any plantation, which is, especially when it comes to palm oil or other, especially terrain in Malaysia or Indonesia, it's very complex. So yeah, that's how we tackle this solution.
Yeah, if I may add actually on, I think there are two fronts to that, right? So it's more on, you mentioned that, let's say a farmer get a 50-liter drone and they only got 2 hectares, it doesn't really make sense to them. I think what we're seeing is that farmers are buying, let's say they got 2 hectares of land, they're buying drones to service their own land, but at the same time, they're also serving their community. So it becomes like a service provider model, exactly like what Meraque is doing as well, but on a smaller scale. Then this serves as like a side income to them. Then it's like them running a side grab business or sole proprietorship business, and it earns them good money. Secondly, it's more on the government efforts. I think we are seeing government, I think last 2-3 years, running a program called Sawah Berskala Besar, which is SBB. Then they're basically consolidating all these farmers' land into one, and then they are getting that. So they are getting economies of scale from there. So buying inputs at cheaper price, getting service providers at cheaper price, and selling harvest at better prices. Yeah, that's what we're seeing in the market.
Thank you very much, Julian. I think conscious of time, maybe opening up last 1-2 questions as well. Or maybe you can take both the questions and answer them together.
Hi, my name is Darren. Just like to ask a bit about the level of acceptance, especially amongst the small-time farmers. We can see that many of them, of course, are very open to AI, but we are also concerned about their resistance towards technology. So how are the efforts on that end to convert these people onto using tech to be more tech savvy and also to be more tech philic in terms of their attitude? And the secondly is about concerns about job displacement, because farming used to be labor intensive, but the application of AI and outsourcing will eventually reduce the head count, and this again may be an effect to small-time farmers. So I'd like to know about this regard, especially from the perspective of Indonesia as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe we take the other question first, then we can answer both together.
Hi, my name is Andrew. I represent PRG Holdings, which is an investment holding company here in KL. We have a 900-acre durian farm up in Guamusang, which incidentally is not covered by electricity or by internet. My question is really around infrastructure. We spent a lot of time talking about the human aspect, adoption, acceptance, and so on. But from a pure infrastructure perspective, let's just say you have the people who are interested now. You need the internet, you need the electricity, you need the power, you need all of that. What is needed to get all of this off the ground? Pardon the pun. But what is required to get this sort of technology off the ground so that we could, really see this happening? So I think maybe this is more directed towards Rabah and Julian. Thank you.
Thank you. I think 2 questions. One really about the people, change acceptance, and connectivity. Would you like to?
Yeah, I can go first on the tech acceptance, right? So I'll give you a bit of context. Recently, we launched an app, which is a credit app where people sign up. They, based on their KYC process, we give them credits, and then they can use those credits by agri inputs from our store. And there's a simple function where they needed to submit documents. Just a simple take picture, upload, and then just submit. Even that, we are seeing struggles with that. So what we saw right from the start, right, is we really needed to be close to the ground, which is why we set up these 3 S centers. Farmers can come in, ask questions about app, how to sign up, this drone do what, these inputs do what, and if they want, they can call us. But it's just a matter of having a physical presence there, and they know you're in there for the long haul, and that builds trust. And from there, you can basically recommend many things, a lot of solutions to them that may be helpful to them. And that's where you build that digital literacy. I'm gonna say it's not something scalable. It's scalable in terms of stores, but you really just have to go to person and then slowly build up the network. Yeah.
Thank you. Rob.
Yeah, I'll talk about the concern on the connectivity side and all this. Definitely, it's a big challenge in ASEAN countries where a lot of plantation doesn't have no internet, no electricity. So that's why in the first place we moved, rather than going to a battery-based drone or battery-based rover or ground vehicle, we preferred hybrid system where you can run with a gasoline engine or petrol or diesel. So that's how we challenge that, solve that challenge. But in terms of connectivity, yeah, when we go to Europe or US, they have the Starlink. Here also we have, but here our challenge is canopies disturb the access to the satellites. Then we don't have connectivity there because there's many people living inside. So even telco companies, they don't want to place their towers inside those plantations. So how we solve this, we create a mesh network using LoRaWAN technology. So that's why we have to make sure that our autonomy technology is really solid. So that's why we have our mesh network inside, where it starts autonomous. And if there is any errors or if there is any situation where the rover can't tackle, it gives the notification to the operator. So we have done a SOM technology, which can go up to 2-kilometer radius, where you can operator can monitor up to 4 rovers. So with that, if there is any issues or any concerns from the rover side, it will be alert to the operator so he can take a manual control using a teleoperation technology. So yeah, definitely the cost will be high, but how we are offering is we are offering a service model. So eventually, definitely we believe that all these current challenges will be solved in terms of cost, because when we need a normal RF module, it was super expensive. Now it's getting lower and lower. So by the time the market is ready, we believe that all the cost for the technology will be reduced, so that we can start selling and also cater more end users.
Thank you. I think maybe just to, maybe Adwin, would you like to say anything? Then I'll close.
Oh yeah, just maybe a quick one, yeah. So in order to make farmer trust, the easy way is seeing is believing, right? So there's a lot of method like doing a demo plot, and then we collaborate with the farmer chief, right? So yeah, basically that's what we do in the ground.
Thank you. No, I think these indeed are two of the biggest issues that we are hearing constantly, which is about connectivity and acceptance, right? And I would just say that I think these can be overcome in many ways. On the connectivity side, some of the solutions is there. I would also say that, we've also seen some success cases even in remote areas of Indonesia, digital lighthouse, World Economic Forum, digital accepted lighthouse that have proven this at scale, right? So it's about how do we develop this fully end-to-end, thinking about the connectivity solutions, when exactly do you need to connect to the internet for what purposes? And then I think on the people acceptance, I think it continues to be an art, right? About whether it's farmer engagement on the street, whether it's about how you, even small things like design your app to think about where people press buttons and all that can go a long way. So I think with that, I think our time is up. So thank you very much, everyone, for this time and this panel as well. Thank you.